Welcome back to Hanging with the Chads. I'm Chad Springer, and as always, I'm joined by the greatest tag team partner of all time, Chad Boudreaux. Boudreaux, how the hell are you this morning?
I mean, as you can tell, my background's a little different right now. I am in an undisclosed location in Southeast Louisiana because with the Tigers being in the College World Series in the championship game or championship series, I got to be around for this, man. I can't sit in Central Florida.
Look, I know it's G17 classified. However, I'm just going to make a guess. It's within driving range of Baton Rouge and LSU. Therefore, when they win the College World Series, and we're going to talk about that, you'll be down there celebrating in the streets of Baton Rouge, playing some little boozy, set it off. You understand?
Absolutely.
So, good morning. We got a great show for you today. We're going to start off with, as always, a little bit of sports news. We're going to bring in our very special guest today, Andy Howell. He's a Coast Guard veteran. He's a head football coach. He's going to speak to us a little bit today. But let's go ahead and get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We got our sports news today. It's coming down to Game 7. Game 7 of the NBA Finals, OKC and Indy. Who you got? I know who I got. I made a parlay for it on Hard Rock Bet app. So, Boudreaux, who's winning Game 7?
Dude, I hate to say it, only because they're playing in OKC, man. It's got to be OKC. Sorry, Mello. This is the way it's got to be. I was shocked. It got to 7. After what happened in 5, I thought for sure that OKC was going to close it out, but Indy has that no-die attitude, and they kept fighting for it. So it's only right, though, that I love when finals go to Game 7. I was a little upset about the Stanley Cup not going to 7, but Game 7 is always fun to watch, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm going Indy, so I'm going a little opposite of you. I'm going Indy to win, and that's just to make my family in Indianapolis happy. So at the end of the day, I'm going Indy. I got a little parlay. Hopefully, I can turn $5.10 into $311.10. So that'd be a pretty good end of the month celebration for us. And speaking of NBA news, hey, look, I wish I was a bus child because I just got paid. The Lakers sold for $10 billion to Mark Walter, who's also the Dodgers co-owner, who bought the Dodgers for like $3 billion or something like that. But that's not the biggest idea floating around right now. Supposedly, and we spoke about this in the past, there's a Mile High City trade rumor going on between the Lakers and the Nuggets. And this is going to be interesting if they keep Luka and they bring in someone that only goes by the name Joker. That's all I can imagine. That's the only person who I would be trading for the Mile High City. Pairing Luka and Joker together is going to be pretty interesting. And, shout out to the Bus family for getting paid on that. Florida keeps Canada from winning another Stanley Cup. It's now 30 years. Shout out to the Panthers, the Florida Panthers. You beat the Edmonton, excuse me.
It's crazy, right?
I can't even think of who it is. It's
the
crazy.
Hottest state in the union is the one that keeps winning the Stanley Cup. It's insane. We don't even have high school hockey. We don't have anything to do with hockey in Florida. But all of a sudden, when it comes to Stanley Cup, we're going to win it all.
Look, right before COVID, the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning, they got together and said, hey, we're going to win not 1, we're not going to win 2, we're not going to win 3, we're going to win 4, we're going to win 5, we're going to win 6 and keep it going. 6 in a row, the state of Florida has won. So quick baseball news, again, going back into baseball. Shohei returned to the mound this week. He only pitched 1 inning. He faced 5 batters. He threw 28 pitches, allowed 2 hits and an earned run with no strikeout. But that, they said the whole entire time it was just going to be a brief appearance. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's significant to see him back on the mound. I believe he's just you're not going to see him on the mound too often this year. I think it's just getting him back into it, getting that arm warmed up, getting that arm used to it. And then I think next year is when he's going to pop off. But, I mean, it's great to see. It's great for baseball to have the big name back to what he was doing, playing both sides of the ball. So, yeah, it's going to be good for sure. It's good for the Dodgers. It's good for everyone.
I mean, it's not good for the other teams. It's good for the Dodgers, yes. But what I'd say in like one of our first episodes, You give me Shohei, Game 7, top of the 9th inning. Come on, big dog. Let's go pitch 1 inning. That's all
Yeah,
we
they
need
might put
from
him
you.
in for that. That might be what the play is. The play might
Yeah.
be that they're just getting him back into it just so they can use him as a shutdown closer if needed.
Look, I have never seen so many people watching live batting practice when Shohei was pitching. That's all I'm saying. There's cameras lined up everywhere. Now, Shohei, let's just be honest, he is a tremendous athlete and he is a star in baseball, but he also brings that whole entire country of Japan with him, just like Ichiro did and all those before him. So, I mean, it's great to see him. And, we're going to stick with baseball. We're just going to go, a little bit lower on the level here. If you see Boudreaux's all LSU'd up, Boudreaux, give us a quick LSU College World Series update. How are we looking?
So, I mean, championship series starts today at 7:00. I honestly think it's going to be a great series. Coastal Carolina, they've won 26 games in a row. They're the hottest team in college baseball right now. I know everyone's giving LSU the upper hand and saying that they're the favorites, and a lot of people are saying they're going to close it out in 2 games. I'm not sure about that. We do have both teams have their pitching rotation. Everyone's rested. Everyone's ready to roll. It's going to be interesting to see if Coastal Carolina jumps on LSU early, even though LSU has a history in Omaha of coming back and never counting them out. There's just something about LSU and that magic of Omaha. But if they jump on them, because Coastal Carolina has a habit, they'll jump on you quick and they keep that foot on your throat. So I believe LSU is going to win it, not because I'm a homer. I just think with the 2 starting pitchers that they have in games 1 and 2, and the bats that they have with Bear Jones coming up, and him just after game 1, he went, sat down, did some extra batting practice, talked to the coaches, got his head right, comes out, hits a home run next game, then hits a home run to tie the game up after the error on first against Arkansas, and then hitting that game-winning single. Yeah, I see LSU being too much for Coastal, but I wouldn't count out the Chanticleers yet.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Coastal Carolina's always had a tough team. They just won a championship a few years back. LSU obviously has won some championships here and there too. But I think it's going to be a great College World Series. It's great for baseball. I wish I was in Omaha, Nebraska to see it, but I'm not. So I'm sitting here in sunny Central Florida, and you're at G17 classified. Hey, before we get into our break real quick, it finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to shout out one Jackson Boyce of the strikeouts. He hit the dinger with the bat that we purchased. We're going to show you the video. Then we're going to go into a break before we bring in our special guest today. Hey, thanks for hanging out with the Chads. Thanks for everything and all your support. Here's the video. Jackson Boyce knocking one out of the park, ladies and gentlemen. Man, that was a bomb. Shout out Jackson again. Hey, I liked everything, even the bat flip.
I love the bat flip, man. Come on, bat flip's awesome. Come on.
Jackson, I'm going to give you a little piece of advice. I wouldn't be doing my athletic director duty if I didn't. If you do that in Florida, you're going to get tossed. So you live in Florida. We know that. So once you start getting up the middle of the high school, let's keep that bat flip to a minimum real quick because you launched that. But, hey, Jackson, you hit a bomb. You hit a dinger. We appreciate you sending in that video. And, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the very special guest today that we have. Our guest is a leader who embodies resilience, service, and leadership. He's born here in Florida. He was raised in North Carolina. He's a proud Coast Guard veteran who served aboard the Cutter Tahoma and at the Castle Hill Station. He's a graduate of Catawba College. He's now the head football coach at North Iredell High School. He inherited a program that did not win a game in 3 years, and then this past season led them to their first playoff appearance in 18 years. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Andy Howell to the show. Mr. Howell, how are you doing today?
Hey, Chad. How are you doing, Chad?
Hey, you like that intro, don't you?
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
Hey, we take it seriously here. Hey, we appreciate you being our guest this morning on the show. Andy, tell everybody who you are so all of our listeners can understand who you are.
I am the head football coach at a North Iredell High School. It's about 45 minutes north of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Before you hit traffic.
Yeah, it's a totally different world, though. Totally different world.
So Andy, you was a former member of the Coast Guard, very, very proud Coast Guard veteran. We're just going to get into it right now. We're going to talk about your military service. So what led you to wanting to join the Coast Guard and, being in the Coast Guard, how did that, shape you into your leadership and coaching style?
Yeah, I was a knucklehead. I had quit school. Didn't tell my parents. And one Sunday night supper, I dropped the bomb. And my dad, being who he is, they never raised his voice. He didn't get mad. He gave me 3 choices. And so one day I was in Greensboro, North Carolina, riding around. And I was actually working in a robotic Coast Guard station. I was like, I only got about 2 more weeks to give my dad a plan of what I'm going to do, or I'm going to have to go out there and fend for myself. So I walked in there and I joined the Coast Guard. I was lucky enough to score high enough on the ASVAB to get in, and off I went to the Coast Guard.
So Coast Guard's a little bit different. It's a Department of Defense, but it's still.
No, actually, when I was in, it was Department of Treasury. It wasn't Homeland Security yet. It became Homeland Security after 9/11.
Got you. Well, that shows how you're giving your age away, Mr. Howell.
Yeah, it's fine. So, my grandpa was a World War II vet, and he served in the Coast Guard.
Oh, nice.
And
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. So that was, and then my uncle, who I love very much, is a Marine, right? Because y'all always are Marines, right? And
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not tough enough to be a Marine. I wasn't gonna get shot at. So I went and joined the Coast Guard, where we floated around in a boat and wore shorts out at sea.
Yeah, you say that, but the Coast Guard's one of the only branches that us as Marines, we don't mess with too much, because we may go off to war, but you guys are out there in the ocean freaking fighting
you know what?
Cartels and all that every damn day. Every damn day.
Chad, that's what I thought. So, they go, hey, you're the small boat engineer. So every time a small boat went down, I had to go down, and we come upon a boat, and I'm like, oh crap, we're in it now. And we got 10 people on our boat, and only 7 of us have guns. And them dudes, they weren't happy. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I should have joined the Air Force, maybe. I don't know.
What is that? The Tom Hanks movie? I am the captain now. What is that? What is that movie?
Yeah, they're out at sea with the pirates.
Yeah, the pirates. Look at me. I am the captain now. We have more.
Yeah, I got to spend a lot of time going back and forth to Haiti, so that was my fun. Got to see Cuba and Haiti a lot. So,
a lot of humanitarian stuff, I would say.
That's what we want to call it.
Hey, look, they right before I deployed, the battle group before I deployed on the ship, they actually went to Haiti first and did some humanitarian work during that 2011 Haiti earthquake or flooding or whatever down there, and then we went and replaced them in the meds. So it's kind of weird we crossed paths,
right.
But so your military service basically. In what you're saying, for layman's words, is it made you grow up. And
yeah. I mean, when I graduated from boot camp, I was ready to come home. I had learned, a valuable lesson. I think the older I get, the more proud I am that I did serve.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But what I needed, which is kicking in the butt, and my father was a disciplinarian, but I needed to go away from home and be away from mama. And once I was away from mama and away from my nest, I grew up real fast. I was ready. I don't need to do this 4 years, guys. Just let me go home. And of course I couldn't do that. So I grew up real quick.
So after your time, at what point in time when you was in the Coast Guard, because I'm sure you had to make a decision while you was in the Coast Guard, at what point in time did you say, hey, I want to get out of the Coast Guard and get into education and coaching? What led you to that?
Well, my dad is a 30-year, he retired as a football coach and teacher. And it's kind of like, the way I always say this is always like, the guy that grows up and his dad's a mechanic and he's always around the shop. From the time I was 4 years old, I was watching film or I was around his football team, something involved in football. I remember the Saturday practices and I would get so excited because I got to go to the Saturday practices and when I got old enough, I was a ball boy and stuff like that. So it was always in the back of my mind. I always wanted to be a football coach, but how was I going to go about doing that was the question that I had. Did I want to do it in high school? Did I want to do it in college? So those are the things I had to figure out.
Boudreaux, any follow-up questions?
Yeah. So using what you learned from your dad and then adding on your military experience to it, what experiences that put all that together to where you are now?
Well, and Chad Springer knows this, is that I stepped into a bad situation. And I think back to boot camp, how they break you down and then they build you back up. And you become, even though you don't want to admit to it, you don't like half the dudes in your company in boot camp. They're getting on your nerves. You're like, man, I'm ready to get the heck out of here. But you were all one team. And the goal was to get out of boot camp. And kind of taking that philosophy into North Iredell because the locker room was fractured. There wasn't a lot of discipline. It's fun. I wish I had the picture. The year before I took over, they're all wearing, I don't know, hoodies, and they're all different colors, and the shirts aren't tucked in and different things like that. So they weren't one unit. And that was the biggest obstacle, was to bring that kind of what I learned in boot camp, the little things. Like I remember being in boot camp and your wall locker, the locker had to be on 0. And I'm like, man, this is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but it was the little things that matter so much. And that's something we had to bring in. I had to bring into North Iredell too.
That forced brotherhood type of thing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely. So that was something that was huge. The biggest mistake I made is I didn't share what I thought. And if I had to go back, I would have handed it to each coach and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. It's not about X's and O's. It's about making this locker room safe for, a locker room, to me, even the kid who never gets to play, should be a great experience. Mm-hmm. And at that time at North, it wasn't great for some kids to come into that locker room. And the discipline of being on time and the discipline of the little things and stuff like that these young men could take into life. That was the biggest goal at first. It wasn't about X's and O's and winning football games. It was about doing those things and trying to instill a life philosophy, these young men and things like that. So the mistake I made is I didn't share that with my coaches, but that's what I had to do. And I knew that. And I think we've gotten there. Hopefully, it's always new team, new process. So.
And your journey, you started off at Reedsville as a volunteer assistant, then you moved to North, then South, then Jacksonville, then back to North.
Well, Yeah, I graduated from Riesling. I was being a knucklehead, and I think best head coach I ever. My head coach was great coach. I couldn't carry his water. He's down in South Carolina now, coaching and winning down there as well. Coach Mark
Good
Barnes.
retirement plan.
Yeah, shout out to Mark Barnes. Heck of a coach. I think he tried to get me back in there. Hey, I'm gonna help. Andy's being a knucklehead. Let's see what. So I didn't do a lot. I sat there beside him and wrote down plays and listened to him, which was a great experience in itself. And then that kind of being around great coaches is a great thing in life, and he's probably one of the most fantastic coaches I've ever been around. I think he's down in Sumter, South Carolina now, and they're big time program.
So you mentioned all your coaching background, and there was a break in your life in coaching. Do you want to elaborate or get into that? Why there was such a break? Or
yeah. I was at home one day, and I had a friend call me and say, "Hey, we're going to Colorado." I'm like, "Cool, have fun." He's like, "We're gonna go skiing. You need to go with us." I was like, "Dude, I'm a teacher. I ain't got money to do that." And I hadn't been teaching long, and well, I had been, but I was like, and the more I got to think about it, I was like, man, I need some money, so I was like, man, I want to make some money, man. I love football. I don't know, maybe I can say, I don't know, but I decided to get out, and I became a financial advisor, and I sat in the office, and it sucked. And I did it for 8 years. The money was great. The freedom was great. It was hard work. It was a lot of no's. You learned a lot. I learned a lot. No doesn't really mean a lot to me anymore, as far as business world goes. But for you, all you young athletes, no is no. So please go by that. But, that's what I did. I started out with Ever Jones, and then I went to Merrill Lynch, which I thought was pretty cool. Merrill Lynch called me, and I was like, "Ooh, Merrill Lynch is calling me." And they, I went and worked for them for a couple of years, and I never liked it, and I did it to the best of my ability. I treat my clients very well, but you're sitting there watching game film or on YouTube or something like that, and people are calling the market's dropping 600 points, and you're like, "Dang, watch this! Look what Alabama's doing. What is this match 3 that Saban's running?" I thought I invented that. I actually thought I invented that years ago. It was very crude to what him and Belichick came up with. But, you're sitting there watching that, and you're drawing up plays and stuff like that. And it wasn't for me. So my beautiful wife kept telling me, you need to get back into it. And actually, my oldest stepson was playing football at North Iredell, and I went to a scrimmage, a couple games. I was like, I can't watch this crap. And so that's kind of led me back into coaching a little bit. Yeah.
You say you was a financial advisor, and speaking of what you first said when you first came in, wouldn't they like to talk to a financial advisor up there about how to spend their money?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on now, man. You use the tools that's in front of you. That's what any good AD is only as good as the coaches he puts underneath him. So,
yeah.
But so when you got the job at North Iredell, you became the head coach. Obviously, I bet that was a very happy day for you, very excited day. Then reality set in. You're taking over a winless program that hasn't won, and you had already been there as defense coordinator and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What did you set in your mind as the first step to change the culture?
Being on time. I think the first meeting we had that summer before I met you, Chad, they came in the lift, and there was about 4 kids late. And I said, "Y'all got to go." And I said, I think there was even a kid that came in with his dad. It's like, "Y'all got to go. You're late." And one kid said, "I'm 30 seconds late." I said, "You're still late."
15 minutes prior.
And, and if I ask you to be there by a certain time, you be there by a certain time, and that was step one, and then we went into the weight room, and I'm not a big bench guy. I want to know what they can squat and power clean. That's my big thing. But we had one kid that benched over 200 pounds. And so we had to change a lot. And that first thing was being on time. Just those little things was what we had to get in there. So,
Boudreaux, any follow up on that?
Yeah. So you're turning the program around. You put in there to be on time is the number one thing. Focusing on the small things to make big things happen. How hard was it to get them to change in that moment?
It was constant. I mean, I'm telling you, it was constant, and it wasn't enjoyable, but it had to be done because it had to have a bigger goal. And we had a decent team my first year, but it was getting them to focus and that locker room, and they'd come in there and you walk in there, lights are turned out, and you're like, what are y'all doing? And we won 2 in a row. I remember we won 2 in a row. The North Iredell community is on top. I mean, oh my gosh, we won 2 in a row. Woo! And
he damn near got a statue built.
The following Monday, we had 8 kids late to practice. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? And I looked at each one of them. Why are you late? And I wanted to see if they would man up on it. And they took it. They manned up. And Coach, I'm sorry. I did, I went to get something to eat or whatever the heck they did, right? One kid would not own up to it. It was my fault, and he absolutely pointed the blame back on blah, 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 blah. He wouldn't accept it. And I told him to go home, and that was hard. He was a good kid, great kid. But he wouldn't take responsibility. So that was part of the process. Are you going to be accountable for your actions? Because we know we have to have this for us to be successful on the field. If we can't take accountability for our little actions, how are we ever going to be successful in you doing your job on the field? So it was constant. It was every day. There was something that we were fixing. And even all the way to the manager, how do you act? We had a kid that, took a gummy. He was a manager, fell out, Listen, this is not what we want as a program, that you're falling out on the freaking track because you took a gummy, and whatever it may have been. So it was fixing it from me all the way to the manager on the team. How do we act as a program? And so it was something every day. It was something every day to fix. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle. It really, when you want to go coach, because all of us just want to coach and we want to, the X's and O's, and here we go, let's go coach. And then you got to deal with, this and that and this and that. And it was hard. It was hard. It was exhausting by the end of the year. It was exhausting.
And we're going to speak more after we take a really brief break about now the process that you actually started to flip the pages to turn it into a positive society to be in up there in North Iredell. This is Chad Springer. I'm with Chad Boudreaux and our very special guest, Andy Howell, today. We're going to take a quick break. Thank you for hanging with the Chads this morning. We'll be right back. Good morning. This is Chad Springer with the greatest tag team partner ever, Chad Boudreaux. This is Hanging with the Chads. Our very special guest today is Andy Howell, head football coach, North Iredell High School. He is a Coast Guard veteran. He is a Cat U graduate just like me. And again, he's a head coach at North Iredell. We're talking about how he started to change the culture and build his program into how he wants to see it. He's talked about previously the struggles of instilling the new culture. Now you have the culture installed. You're going into your 5th year now. And what are some, before we get into the biggest one, and I know that's what we're going to talk about a little bit later, that breakthrough, when it comes to getting that culture shifted, it's a work in progress, but when did you notice that culture started to shift?
Actually, I had Fool's Gold happen. We went up and we were down 14-0 to a football team, and good football team. And we came back and won. Hadn't happened. I don't know how many years North has come back and win after being down. And I'm like, okay, now we are rolling now. We are where we need to, we're heading in the right spot. And we had this young quarterback, dynamic quarterback, and I'm blessed to being able to coach him. I got one more year with him.
Is that the sales kid?
Yeah.
Good kid.
And all of a sudden, I think we're heading in the right direction, and boom, this selfishness hits in. So I never saw it coming. I think I had let my guard down a little bit. I thought we had turned it, and we didn't. And it kind of we floundered through the rest of the year. And if we would have won our last game, we'd have made the playoffs. But, I mean, we get whacked. We're getting waxed, right? And I'm sitting there going, all right, I thought we had gotten through this. What do I have to do? And while the game's going on, and 2 weeks after the season was over, I had about 15, 16 kids in my house eating. And I think they thought they're going to come over here and we were going to just hang out and have a little dance party or something. I don't know what they thought, but I sat down with them. I said, and my wife was helping, and she sat in here, and I said, we pulled chairs around in my living room, and I said, okay, what do we have to do to fix this? Y'all talk to me, because we've had a unity council that, we picked up. I have tried to make this your team, and last year went away, and this is 2 seasons ago. And what do we have to do to fix it? So these kids spoke up. They were honest about some things. I said, okay. And we implemented it. And last year's kids rolled with it. And that's, that was the change right there, was losing that last game and me sitting there and going, okay, you got to be honest. I got to be honest with myself now. Am I being too rigid? Am I doing this? And what am I doing? So let me get the kids in here. And I really at the time, they were juniors, really loved them. They all graduated this past year. And and I brought in, some sophomores and juniors. And, what was crazy is some of them wouldn't speak up while they were sitting in my house. But as soon as they left, an hour later, I'm getting multiple text messages. Coach, I think this. Coach, I think that. So I had to take what they were saying to what I wanted, to what my other coaches were saying, and that's what changed. I think really changed everything was that meeting after we lost.
And Boudreaux, any follow up on that?
Yeah. So, what kind of changes did you have to make? But I know how we are as coaches, and especially military and coaches, that we all think everything is set one way and we have to do it one way. And it's hard to divert from that. So what kind of changes that were similar that was just kind of a small move from what you were doing to what they wanted?
It shortened practice 30 minutes. But Chad will tell you, I'm relentless. I've got to cover every little point. Got to be out there, and we can be out there 3 hours. By gosh, we're going to be out there 3 hours, and I'm going to make sure every point is, everything is covered, and gave them Wednesdays off in the summer. That's a big thing they wanted. And, giving them more autonomy in the locker room without me sitting in a locker room, sitting there going, okay, get dressed. They're like, Coach, let us handle people getting to practice on time. I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. And it gave them that autonomy, and they rolled with it, man. And they took over their team, and it was their team, and it was fun to watch. We're not perfect by any means. No discipline. We had 0 discipline problems last year. We had 0 discipline. One. We had one problem, but they were good in the halls. They were good in the classroom. They did everything they were supposed to do. They showed up to work. Yeah, there were some bad practices, but then you would hear chirping, pick it up. This is, I'm not going to say what I heard, but it was, and I went out there and I was more relaxed, and because you don't know me, Chad, but I'm pretty intense, dude. I'm pretty laid back off the field, but once I cross that line, something happens to me. I don't know, but everything just seemed to kind of flow last year a little bit. So,
and the flow, we're just going to flow right into it here. It led you to the first playoff appearance for North Iredell in 18 years.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah.
How did you feel the moment you knew you was going to get into the playoffs? And the community and the team, how did that impact the community and the team?
I'm going to tell you, I got so many text messages, and I think I did. I felt like I don't know, it was annoying, but do interviews and stuff like that. And it was great for the kids. I mean, I played in the playoffs. I've coached in the playoffs. I've gone deep in the playoffs. I haven't won a state championship, but I told them it wouldn't be the greatest thing they do in their life. Hopefully it's not the greatest thing they do in their life, but 20 years from now, they'll look back and go, that's pretty daggone cool. So I was so happy for the kids. And I figured out the RPI formula. And so I'm sitting there. I still have the notebook, and I'm always going to keep that notebook. And I'm writing down I'm spending, because what happened is we had a delay after the season because of the hurricane up in Western North Carolina.
Yep.
So they were giving them a week to play to get off. So here I am. I'm figuring up every playoff scenario. If this team wins and this team loses and then blah, blah. So what you're doing is you're figuring up their opponents winning. I was being ridiculous. But
they probably have an Excel sheet for that now, and you ain't got to handwrite it no more.
Yeah, but you know me, man. I'm gonna write it. I'm old school, man.
I had to throw it in there.
And my father-in-law's the same way. He's an old school AD, and he does it every year. He tries to figure out who's making the playoffs down in Louisiana.
So I was like, man, we're solid. We're in. Yeah. We're in. And I kept telling some people, and I wouldn't tell the kids. And they're like, are we in? I'm like, I don't know.
Gotta wait for that selection show, bro.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, God. And then I knew we were in. I just didn't know where we were going to play. And so, it felt good practicing in November.
Yeah,
and the kids got to enjoy it. And, the time change happened, and you got to go out and warm ups when it's dark and the lights are already on. And that whole feeling is just pretty cool. And, and we got them a charter bus. We had a 45-minute drive. We got a charter bus, and we did it up for them. And we didn't play very well, and I think the situation was a little bigger for us than we thought it would be. And we didn't, but we were there. So the goal now is to get there and win one now. So
and hopefully that's going to happen this year. With the new conference realignment, that the North Carolina conference realignment seems to be
stupid.
More, yeah. I wasn't going to say that, but
I'll say it. You mean say it? It's stupid.
I mean,
It's ridiculous. These are educated people making these decisions, and they're dumb. They're dumb.
I've seen some of the conferences, man. It's crazy.
There's superintendents on that board, and I'm wondering how the heck they run a daggone school system.
I just got one question. So being down in Florida, shout out to the Florida High School Athletic Association. They took coaches' input, they take AD's input, they send out surveys, they do things like that. I'm sure the North Carolina High School Athletic Association does it, but we like the Florida High School Athletic Association, and we want to stay on their good graces. So in North Carolina,
I don't like North Carolina's Athletic Association.
You went to 8A, correct? It's
Yes.
8A now.
Yes.
So,
but it's not even A.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I looked at one of these conferences. It's a 1, 2, and 3A conference.
Yeah.
Like, how is that even possible? Like,
because a bunch of dumb.
Like,
I ain't gonna say it.
To be honest with you, like, I think maybe six would have been a good number for North Carolina. Maybe.
I don't know.
But
why? Okay, are y'all on regions? Y'all have regional, sectional regionals?
Yes. Well, the way we do it, we have our district, which is North Carolina's conference.
Yeah.
Then we have regional, then the state. So
right.
Yeah.
Right. So you can basically, do you have to play people in that? You play people in your district?
So district games you're required to play,
games, yeah.
but you can play your others. But our district's only 5 teams.
Okay.
Yeah, ours is only 4.
You got a damn 10-team district in some of them districts in North Carolina. Like that, and you only get 10 games.
Dude, they got 12 teams in the conference up in the mountains.
You're playing all 11. I hope it's rivalry games, because God forbid if North Iredell didn't play West Iredell, what type of
Statesville's not playing West, Chad. Statesville's not playing West.
Is Statesville playing South?
Yeah, we're in the same conference.
Okay, so y'all.
All right, so here you go, Chad. This is what they did. So they got 8 A's. Charlotte is booming, right?
Yeah.
Raleigh and Durham are booming.
Yeah.
So they're building high schools every day, right? Blah, 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 blah. Well, people got upset because here you got like 3,900 students in one school, and they're playing a high school in the playoffs that has 1,600. Okay. All right. I get it. 2,300. I get why you're confused and why they're upset.
Mm-hmm.
So they come up with this 8A. They're going to make it the big 32. So it's only 32 teams in the big 8.
Sound like they're doing too much like South Carolina. They're trying it way too much.
Florida was going to do that. Florida was going to do where if you were ranked in the top 32 in the RPI, the
entire state.
Yeah, the entire state, regardless of how many you think, you were moving in to a different class. But then they changed that all up, and then they did the whole, what is it, like the city, and then they changed that up again. And yeah,
I think Florida ended up the way it's going to look next year. It's going to be the top 16 schools, no matter what your classification is. Whatever the top 12 teams in the state of Florida that actually play in the state series are automatically in their own playoffs. Everybody. So that gives, so like for you guys, put it like this. What's that dang Charlotte Catholic? Charlotte Catholic would not prevent you from winning a playoff game, because you won't have to play them in the first round. If you're the 8 seed and they're the 1 seed, they're automatically playing, Providence and all them. So it's moving all those big time programs that are the top teams in the state into one playoff bracket to give the schools like me and Boudreaux's school an opportunity to actually play for a state championship.
Well, and what they did, so they come up with these great conferences, right? And there's a school right outside of Charlotte. It's a charter school, Mountain Island Charter. And they have 3 games that they have to travel through like 2.5, 3 hours to go to.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which they got all these schools in their backyard. But because a couple of schools didn't want to play them, they go, okay, we're going to send you.
You can blame the Gaston County schools for that.
It's ridiculous. So they say, okay, we're going to put North Iredell in a conference. And there's, all right, great. North Iredell's a rural area. It's not growing much. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Well, you got to go play Lake Norman, who has 1,000 more kids than you. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. But yet we have all these schools around us with about 150 difference in students. Oh, no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. You got to go play Lake Norman. Okay. We'll go play Lake Norman. So it's us and Statesville are the 2 6A schools, Lake Norman, Mooresville, and Davie County and South Iredell, or 7A. Okay, great. So if you win, so whoever wins between us and Statesville in the 6A game is the conference champion. We automatically get a bid to the playoffs. No, that's not the way it's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you win your conference.
Yeah, that
So
right
why
there is
did
a
you
little
put
crazy.
us in a conference then?
Right.
Brain power of the North Carolina Athletic Association. Why did you even do that? So to me, what they did, because they're so intelligent, they knew they made a mistake, so they backed out of it and said, "Oh, we're just going to go by RPI." So I think there's 59. We're 6A. There's 59 6A schools. I think 48 of them make the playoffs.
All you got to do is play 5 teams that have a 2-loss season, and you're good.
I mean, technically, there is going to be. Let's just say, and I hope we win more than 2 games. Let's say we win 2 games, and then we play our conference, which is not an easy conference.
No,
good football teams.
I think Davie County is going to be a lot better with their new head coach.
I will agree with you.
Shout out Brian Henson.
Yes.
Shout out Brian Henson. Sorry, I had to.
I was kind of upset that he got the job, but congratulations to him. Son of a buck. and I'm sitting here going, okay, well, a 2-win team probably gonna make the playoffs because of their conference.
I mean, hell, look, last year a no-win team made the playoffs. Quite a few of them.
And I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know if a one-win team, a 2-win team should be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that's what you're going to do. Here's your participation trophy.
I was just about to say that when you have 50, 60 teams and 48 of them make the playoffs, I mean, that's a little ridiculous. Yeah, let's trim that number down to, 32 or 24.
Right.
The best teams make it. Now, that part I find is not ideal. It's stupid. And so me at my school down there at the corner of Point Siena Boulevard and Pleasant Hill Road, we went independent. And a lot of people don't understand why we went independent. But when I list the teams that are now in our district, they like, oh yeah, I see why you went independent now. Because 4 teams in my district, 3 teams, three out of the 5 teams has won a state title or played for a state title in the last 6 years. And so I looked at the community. We only have 4 wins in 2 years. And before that, we didn't have a win in 3 years. What 3 teams are we beating to win our district?
Right.
When we played 2 of them and they outscored us 154-7 in the year that we played them. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna sacrifice the state championship we're not gonna get for wins to build a program that way.
Right.
So, and that's the down here. I think Florida's doing okay, especially I think they're realizing they're tired of seeing the same schools play for a state championship. So they're going to make those schools play each other for a state championship. Like the Santa Claunas, the Columbuses down here, the American Heritages and all them. They're tired of seeing them always win, so they're going to put them in their own spot to give the other schools. I mean, Osceola went to the state championship. That's in our school district. They went to the state championship this year. They got beat like 35 to like 20 something. But Jones, a school right over here in Orange County, played for like 3 straight state titles and got beat by the same school or something like that. Yeah. Not that it's the same school every time, but they'll end up against that same school every time. But it's because this one school down there is open enrollment 101. That's all I'm going to say.
What in our whole thing is if you went to district play, you could get the admin numbers each year and go, okay, you're a 5A school this year, you're a 6A school. And I don't think anybody would have had a problem with that, even though we would, I wouldn't have had a problem with it because what you're seeing here in the small city we live in is that you're getting this growth over from Charlotte now. And I think they're building 5,000 homes in Statesville, North Carolina right now. How
is that going to affect y'all when you get Weathers Creek?
Well, and there's so many, dude, we're going to talk about that.
They're Ain't you over budget on that?
They're building a school without athletic fields, so who knows what they're doing down there? Jesus. I'm like, yeah,
they're going to be they're going to be playing at South.
But I think from the middle of this county down, there's like 25,000 units going up, and so I don't know how that's going to affect. But what you're starting to see is now Statesville High School and West Iredell growing. North's not growing until they redraw the lines, because there's just people aren't selling their land as much up here as they are in other places because they farm it. So we'll see what happens. We're gonna go play. We're gonna go play and see what we do.
And looking at your schedule, you're not traveling too far to a lot of your games.
No, no.
It's not like some schools that are traveling a little bit of ways.
Our buddy at Statesville, Rydell, he's going up to East Surrey. I think that's out in 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
And then he's going to West Oaks?
He's going to Hickory Ridge, Porter Ridge, Alexander Central, but that's right around the corner in reality.
That's South is playing Porter Ridge, aren't they?
Oh, I clicked the wrong name. Sorry.
Yeah.
I meant to click Statesville. Sorry.
They got Charlotte Hopewell, and West Mac, and AC, and East Surrey, and West.
Oh yeah. They got
So they got to travel, but the problem he has, no one wants to play them because they're so daggone good.
Yeah. Shout out to Rydell Cowan. He's going to be another future guest on this show. He's supposed to be on the show already. We haven't been able to link up, but that's my guy. That's my dude forever. Rydell Cowan, shout out.
Yeah, he sucks. But anyway,
I think you're just mad you haven't beat him yet.
Well, you know what? Hell yeah, I'm mad I hadn't beat him.
Yeah, why not?
You helped create him and coach him.
listen, that's a very proud thing of me. Every time I see him out there coaching, it's very proud when I want to beat him, but the minute that horn sounds and the game's over, we're back to Andy. I mean, it was so unique about me and him is I coached him, Chad. And one of the greatest compliments you ever will get is Rydell's old, and we're like really good friends. And we talk every week about what's going on in the conference or who they're playing or who we're playing. And me and him talk. Like when we play each other, we talk all the way up to Thursday. Like it's no big deal. And I send him a text on the Friday that we play each other. I said, good luck tonight. And he responds back, good luck to you. And I don't know how the brotherhood of coaching is down in Florida. I think we've lost a little bit of that with technology. Those bonds, it is a fraternity. And I think we've lost it a little bit, but it is good to still have it with Rydell. And I'm so proud of him. And he's doing a hell of a job over there.
Yeah.
And he had to fight, he had to do a lot of fixing over there, and he's done an incredible job over there. I'm so proud of him.
And you spoke about, and this is a perfect segue. You spoke about coaching Rydell and being a former coach of his. Now, as him as a student athlete, you as the coach, as the head coach, we're going to toot your horn a little bit here. The last 3 years, you had NC Scholar Athlete Team Honors, which is our equivalent of the FSHAA Team Champion. This past year, you had a team GPA of 3.6.
My North Iredell players had 3.6, yes.
3.6. So balancing academics and discipline and athletics, you've done a tremendous job because, at the end of the day, we're molding young men to be successful in the next phase of life. Going into the coaching mindset, is that something you knew you had to do? Now, North Iredell's always had great kids, but is that something you wanted to do? Was that a goal of yours, or just happened, organically?
No, it was a goal of mine because I started looking at the way the college game is changing, and where D2 players are no longer D2 players because of the transfer portal or whatever may be happening. So now they're D3 players. And to go to a decent D3 school, you better have grades.
Yep.
And a 2.5 ain't going to get you into a D3. So now, and I know the JUCO has changed now where it doesn't count against you and stuff like that, but we only have one JUCO in North Carolina, and if you're a D3 player, I don't know if they're going to take you at that JUCO because they're looking for D1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because them dudes want to win and move up in the world too. So, and with the philosophy of school, we have a great principal. She does a terrific job. Shout out to Diana Jones. She does a great job with our kids. And, but it was kind of a philosophy, and it's basically, if you're not passing all 4 classes, you don't play.
It's a good philosophy to have.
We're going to change it this year because, you know, they're like, coach, I'm passing, you know, I'm like, no, you're not. Look at Power School. Oh, she hadn't graded that assignment yet. So then I'm walking around the school going to different teachers going, how are they doing? Oh, he's fine. And then 2 weeks later, no, he's not fine. You said he was fine, but he's not fine. And nothing against the teachers, because they got 100 students during the day. So they're not able to grade everything. They don't know what's going on. So now we're going to go, if you're missing an assignment, you don't play.
Wow. Academics before athletics. I like it.
So
Student athlete.
every Tuesday, you got to bring in a form saying you're not missing an assignment. And if you are, until that all assignments are made up, you will not play.
Now, has your teaching staff been supportive of this mission? Like, have you got any flack or negative comments on that?
The first year we put this into play, I mean, I had football mamas calling, my son's not going to get to play if he's not passing. You know, I'm like, and what's so great is the admin supporting the heck out of that, right?
Yeah, that's always makes your job easier when the admin support
you. We hadn't really got any of those phone calls the last couple of years because it's now they know, and it's crazy. I should chart their grades from the time football's over. So what we do now, if they're failing, we got this little defensive lineman. He could be really, really good, good high school player, and he didn't get to come to spring workouts because he wasn't passing classes. And
they only get workouts in North Carolina. We get spring games.
Yeah. Well, it depends where you're at.
It depends on where you're at. I read some articles this year.
Yeah,
I read some articles.
It depends where you're at. So, you know, that's been, you know, and the kids know their grades are good during football season. And, you know, now that it's got to carry over to when they're out of football. And we don't have academic problems. You know, recruiters come in and go, how are the grades? And I'm like, there it is. They're like, ooh. You know, and I'm hoping I got a kid or a couple maybe going to Davidson College this year, which, you know,
that's big for your area.
Yeah, they don't give, you know, it's D1 football. They don't give athletic scholarships. It's all on academic merit, but you got to still be good enough to play for them. And they have the grades to go, and which is where we're at now. And, you know, we don't have many D1 players walking through our halls. So they have to rely on their grades to get them if they want to play at the next level. And we got a kid going to Brevard, which is a small school down in southwestern North Carolina, D3 school. They had a pretty good record this year, 6-4. And, you know, up there in Virginia, Randolph-Macon, Hampton, Sydney, Shenandoah Valley, they make the playoffs every year in D3. But you got to have a 3.25 to get in, or you're not getting in. You're not getting in. So I don't want my kids to miss out on that opportunity because of what's going on in college sports right now, and especially now they only can have X amount of players on a roster. You know, the preferred walk-on, and the walk-ons are going to go away. So where are you going to go play ball if you want to go play? You better have the grades, because we had a kid this year that came to us late, didn't have the grades, and he can't get in anywhere. So now he's going, nothing wrong with this. He's going to a community college, and hopefully he'll get his grades and can go play later, but he's missing out because when he came to us, he had like a 0.9 GPA. Yeah, exactly. Now it's a 2.3, and he's like, you think you can get me in anywhere? And we're like, nah.
Hey, we get you in the local recruiting station over here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll get you recruited, by God.
So, And really, if you do your work in high school, how hard is it? Especially
show up and do work. That's it.
That's it.
It's great.
Just turn it in. I mean, I don't know how it is down here. They're going all 9 weeks to turn in the assignment. No one, it's not like when we're in school. Oh, it's late. You don't get to turn it in. Now, we're going to give it to you all 9 weeks to turn it in. Here you go. So you shouldn't be failing. Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah, high school should be the easiest time. All you got to do is show up to class. Don't be an idiot. Do your work. Even if it's not fully done, they're going to give you credit for it.
Exactly.
Be able to pass the damn test. I mean, I could have passed in high school this year, and I was a knucklehead in high school.
I'd had a 4.0 now.
Right.
I mean, and they give you multiple chances to take a test. They give you multiple chances to take a test. I mean, now I give a test, and it's like, you got 3 times to freaking take it.
And it's all digital now too.
Cheat.
As long as you're not cheating and they're not watching your screen, you're going to be just fine.
And how many teachers are really watching the screen?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was the best app I ever had, though. I'm not going to lie. That was the best app ever in PE. I could see, hey, you need to be doing your anxiety stuff, and he's over there watching, YouTube and all this. I'm like, nope.
I mean, I'm not a proponent of cheating at all, but I'm like, at least you're trying if you're cheating.
Look,
at least I know you care.
Look, a great man once said by the name of Eddie Guerrero, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is Chad Springer with the greatest tag team partner, Chad Boudreaux ever, and our special guest today, Andy Howell, head football coach of North Iredell. We're going to take one quick break. We're going to come back and have a little bit of fun. We're going to introduce Coach Howell into this or that. We're going to put him on the spot. And we'll be right back again. Thank you for hanging out with the Chad this morning. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm about to go level up. I cannot settle for nothing. I never been regular. Always knew I could do better. I finally made it this far and I'm not looking back. They didn't see all the time that I put in. Now me and the money are way too attached. Still repping 919. The city is mine and I put it all on the map. Coming for what I deserve. I put in the work. Now I'm about to level up. Been on my grind since 2013. Now the way that I live, I feel like a king. 24 hours, I'm locked in. I'm feeling like Kobe. Getting these rings. Do what I want when I want. Ain't got nobody telling me shit. Still got a whole.
Good morning. Welcome back to Hanging with the Chads. This is Chad Springer, joined by our special guest, Andy Howell, and, of course, the greatest tag team partner ever, Chad Boudreaux. Hey, shout out to Chad Springer and Chad Boudreaux for making this gear. Got me a T-shirt press. Got a good old DTF printer. We're making our own gear. If you want to purchase some gear, please feel free to visit our website and order some. Andy will send you a shirt of your liking so you can wear it up there in North Iredell and support the show. But we come down to the funnest part of the show. This is called This or That. It's when we're always going to put you on the spot, and you're going to have to make a decision on what you would rather do, okay? You ready to play this game? All right, the first question I'm going to ask you, Andy. Friday Night Lights or Saturday college football? Which one?
Where am I going on Saturday? It's nothing like Saturday afternoon, man. Yeah, Saturdays.
Ooh, Saturdays. Boudreaux, do you want to?
I'm same way, man. Like, I mean, granted, down here in Louisiana where I'm at right now, Friday night football, it's kind of like Texas. Everything shuts down in the town. Everybody goes to the game. My high school used to get 10 to 15,000 people in the stands. But there's nothing like going to Baton Rouge on a Saturday night game. Oh, dude, it's Saturday college football, hands down for me. Oh yeah, that's where it's at.
I'm going to go against both of you. As much as I like college football and EA Sports college football when it comes out, I'm Friday Night Lights, man. It's just the atmosphere, the kids, man. It's all about them. And I don't go to many college football games, to be honest with you. I probably went to maybe like 10 my entire life, but I'm going to pick Friday Night Lights on this. And that's how I'm going to go. So 2 votes for that for you guys on Saturday college football over here. All right, so here we go. I think I know which way Andy's going to lean on this one. Offensive shootout or defensive battle?
Defensive battle.
Damn defense coordinator. Boudreaux.
Hey man, I'm with him, dude. Like, there's nothing but granted because I'm LSU guy. One of the greatest games I ever watched was that LSU Alabama game that was 6-3.
I was undeployed in that game, and I watched it. So yes, I agree with that.
It's just something about a defensive battle, like just the struggle, the fight, the grit, the hard hits, everything in that. Where an offensive shootout, like, oh, I get the ball for 2 downs and I'm scoring touchdowns. Fuck that. Give me a struggle. Give me people hitting each other hard. Give me some bloodied up faces, and that's what I want to watch.
Hey, I'm going against y'all both again. I'm an offensive guy, so Big 12 shootouts, baby. I want it to be 63-56. I don't care. The fans are there to be entertained, and points make entertainment. So I want an offensive shootout all day long.
It's not how the game's supposed to be played, though, man.
Hey, if you don't want me to score, stop me, defensive guy. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Dude, you got too many rules now.
Yeah, it's true. You'll never get a 6-3 game ever again.
Hey, listen, I'll get a 15-yard and knock your quarterback out.
All right, don't be. Hey, look, hey, don't be just because we got LSU and Saints fan here. Don't mean you started bounty gate on my quarterback. I thought that was over with.
Hey.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Bud Foster always said their goal was to get to the second string quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! All right, here we go. All right, so being in the Coast Guard, it's gonna affect you a little bit. Massachusetts winter or North Carolina summer?
North Carolina summer. It's the best. Massachusetts winter. It's like I'd rather be down.
-20 to wind chill factor.
Listen, man, I remember one Thanksgiving was -50 wind chill, and I was like, man, the hell with this. I'm like, man, get me the hell home. This is bullshit.
Boudreaux, I just got a feeling you're going to take the heat.
I mean, yeah, I'm from the Southeast, dude. Like, I'm from Louisiana. I was stationed in North Carolina for 4 years, and then then living in Florida now. Yeah,
you're at Camp Lejeune?
Yeah, I was in Lejeune.
I coached at Jacksonville High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, give me the heat. Give me heat all day.
Yeah, I feel sorry for both of y'all with the heat now because you both have turf. I like the heat on the grass. It's not as hot, but yeah, I'm definitely taking the heat.
Hey, listen, our turf's got sand in it.
Hey, your turf looks really good. I'm not going to lie, bro. That shit looks really good.
It
looks so good.
Sand is it's not supposed to, it's cooling.
Yes, they said the same thing about mine. Mine has that cork or whatever they put in them. Yeah, it's still. The other day I went out there, it was 140 something degrees on it. Like I tested it because it was like kids were passing out. I'm like, wait, what's up? Yeah,
you want to know something funny? And now I'm just going to do this to pick on everybody real quick. So we talk about the heat index, right? And the wet bulb. My wet bulb is at Boudreaux's field. I'm going to put this into perspective. Boudreaux is North Iredell. I'm Lake Norman in the distance. He has turf field. I have grass. That's how our wet bulb is connected. We share the wet bulb, and we're over driving. It's over 45 minutes away.
Whoa, do y'all use a wet bulb machine, or do you have the app?
It's the app with the built-in wet bulb.
Zealous or whatever it's called. Y'all use that?
No, we use a DTN.
Okay.
Yeah, we use DTN, Weather Century, whatever. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I'll be looking at the wet bulb and say wet bulb is going to be 94 degrees at 10 a.m. I was like, hey, Boudreaux, I hope you stay off the field because my guys ain't even practicing right now. Get out of here. But all right, so here we go. And I think I know the answer to this one just by knowing you. Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Boudreaux?
Not me, man. I'm a mountain guy, dude. There's something I don't like going to the beach unless like I'm going to the beach to stay some nights. Like for us here in Florida, like we know we can go out to the beach during the day and come back home. I hate that shit because I'm going out there. I'm dragging all this shit out there. I'm going to set up my spot. And then a few hours later, I'm packing it all up. I'm dragging it back to my car. Then I'm driving a couple hours back home. No. Mountains. I mean, we vacation in Tennessee every year for Thanksgiving. I love the mountains. I love everything about it. I love just being secluded. No one fucking with me. Yeah, give me the mountains every day.
I love the mountains too because I can actually take my dog there. So you can't really take them to most Florida beaches down here. You got to get like find a beach or get like special permission. So I'm going mountains all day long. Tennessee is beautiful. So yeah, now I'm gonna just put you on the spot right now. The Columbia blue North Iredell uniforms are a thing now, right? Y'all have the Columbia blue ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like them better?
Yeah. I mean, you hadn't seen our all white, have you?
No, but
we went all white, dude. Yeah.
Columbia blue or Carolina blue?
It's listen, this is what's happened. They messed up the paint, like the helmets, and it came back like Smurf blue.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell no. So I sent that shit back, man. I was like, make it Carolina blue, baby. So it's this color now. Yeah, it's Carolina blue. Nice. Hell no. I mean, of course, this is, I've taken some heat off of that, but we're blue and white, man. I mean, hell, I'm getting Carolina blue shirt, white. I mean, I bleed it. So
hey, wait, are you still wearing Jordans on the sideline?
Hell yeah.
Good.
I guess I wore some dunks this year. The blue and white university dunks.
I'm still wearing my Jordans on game days. I'm wearing my Jordan 1 low golf shoes because I'm walking around on grass all day. That makes me feel fancy. So, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is Andy Howell. Andy, we appreciate you being on the show today. Any last words for our listeners from you?
Nah. Yeah, there's a lot I could say, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Hey, we appreciate you keeping.
Man, I'm proud of you, Chad.
I appreciate you, brother.
I know the road was bumpy for you there for a minute.
Yeah.
But
it's still a little bumpy, but I'm learning everywhere I go.
Hell, everything's gonna be bumpy to you. You ain't that far from the damn ground.
Well, you ain't that much.
I mean, when I'm looking down at your scalp, you are short.
Sir, you're only like 1.5 inches taller than me.
No. I can look down on your head.
For one, you've never seen my head without a hat on it. So I don't want to hear it.
You did take it off once.
No, never will I ever.
And stay out in the mountains. They might confuse you for a troll.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank Andy Howell for being here today. Coach, it's always good to catch up with you, man. I'm really proud of all the success you got going on. I hope nothing but more success, even in your crazy alignment scheme you have up there in North Carolina right now. I hope that all the momentum continues this year.
Thank you.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach Howell, North Iredell High School. He led them to their first playoff appearance in 18 years. Shout out to the North Iredell and that whole community up there. Coach Howell, we appreciate you being here. And Mr. Boudreaux, we're going to let you end it like you always do.
Hey, well, number one, we're going to say for today, go Tigers.
No, go Tigers.
All right, for real, guys, hey, just get better.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right there. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for supporting the show. As always, be 1% better today to be better tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chad Springer, joined by the greatest tag team partner ever, Chad Boudreaux, and the great Coach Andy Howell of North Iredell High School. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging with the Chads. Have a wonderful day.